Alright guys, so welcome back to another long overdue Patreon request. As always, if you want to get a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, join Patreon there, hit the 4th tier, and you guys can send me requests for videos to do. Anyway, so let's talk about our next Patreon request, and that one comes from Gordon Rajani, who, hope I'm saying that last name right, who asked me to review a YouTube web series here on YouTube I did not know of from Jello Apocalypse. If you don't know who Jello Apocalypse is basically this is animated series. Like, so this is basically Steven Universe, or the Ruby one's actually really funny and actually on point. I think that one's probably my favorite, is the Ruby one, because it's so goddamn accurate. Anyway, so Jello Apocalypse put out a 7-part animated series called Epithet Erased, and that's the show Gordon asked me to review. It took me a while to get through this because, like, it's like I didn't have time to watch to just binge watch all 7 episodes, and B, it's kind of a slog. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was a bit of a slog, because I'm going to come out right out of the gate and say, if you enjoyed Epithet Erased, totally fine. No problem with you. I have no problem with you if you liked Epithet Erased. But personally, I was just waiting. It felt longer than 7 episodes. It, honest to God, felt so much longer than that, because I was just kind of disinterested. Mostly because, like, it's stuff I've seen before. So, let's talk about the show of Epithet Erased. Epithet Erased centers around a girl named Molly who lives in a world where people possess abilities, some people called quirks. Semblances. No, epithets. Epithets are basically superpowers that are etched into people's souls, and they're all centered around, and this season is centered around an amulet that can steal people's souls and abilities, and Molly is in possession of it with all these other characters all vying for it. It's kind of a action comedy show, and there is only one season, with the second season I think is in production, or at the very least is trying to get support for it. There is some good in here. I like the characters. They're all fun. Zora and Molly herself, and Idun, I think that's his name. He's basically like, my ability is barrier! Yeah, he's like, barrier! Like, his scene is, mine is barrier! Oh, man. There are some funny moments. The animation is cute, but it's also pretty cheap. Like, no one really walks. It's more like people, like stick figures walking, like a puppet show. And it is, like, enduring, but when you have, like, an overhead view, it's just people, like, it goes to, like a video game view, which I think was Jello's idea. Like, that was his initial idea, was to kind of make it like a video, like a video game story, which honestly, this Epithet Erased would probably work as a video game. I really do think, like, this would be cool as a video game, and they do look like video game cutscenes. The problem is, there's no video game in between. It's just all it's like watching all the cutscenes. Now, I'm not gonna shit on it too hard, because it is a dude's labor of love. You know, the dude put his own money into this. He put his own animation into this. He was the one who's kind of sinking a lot. So I'm not going to be like, this guy sucks. I'm not going to be like, Jello Apocalypse did something stupid and no one's going to watch it. I'm not. There's a fan base for it. There's a clear and present fan base for it. I'm not one of those people. I'm not good, because, yeah, I understand the struggle. And this is a dude who wanted to accomplish his dream. And I am not going to shit on a guy who wanted to follow his dream. I'm in no way gonna do that. But personally, it's just stuff I've seen before in Ruby and in My Hero and stuff like that. And I think I've just seen enough of it to make me go, I just don't care for another. It's kind of like one of the reasons why I just stayed away from High Guardian Spice. Not just because that show is a goddamn train wreck, and I have no intention of reviewing or watching the show. Don't even bother asking me. I'm not going to do it, because A, I've had no interest in that show from the beginning, and B, everyone's done it so much better of reviewing that train wreck that I don't think I need to. All I'm going to say is that was that was a pretty bad show. But at the same time, I'm like, there are interesting pieces here, and characters are really fun. Like, there are some really fun characters. And again, you always have to stress that every story has been told. Let's be real. Originality is kind of dead because there are so many stories out there that have been told, and that there's been so many stories out there that have been told and retold so many times that they're so similar. But the thing is that Epithet is kind of a little too close for home for like My Hero or Ruby, or shows of that nature that make me go, I just can't get into it. Like, I just couldn't get in. It's cute. It's really cute, and there are some really good jokes. Like, there were some really good ones from a character named Murdoch that were a lot of fun. But at the same time, I'm like, I was watching this and going, I was always checking like the timer on YouTube, like to show how much episode is left, and I'm like, all right, we're still here, all right. But I am glad it does have a fan base. I mean, each episode is kind of like roughly like close to the millions in most cases. And I will give Jello Apocalypse a major ups, because this was very much a lot of his work and a lot of his staff he put money into. And I'm not going to say like, oh, it's no has-been, so don't bother. I'm not going to say that at all. That'd be kind of cruel, because Vivian had like an entire just staff and voice acting that were all there. Like, and Jello, and she sank money into it too, into her work in both Has-Been and Hell of a Boss. And Jello did too. So I'm not, and his animation and art style is vastly different. So I'm not gonna shit on him. I just personally was like, it's just not for me. Like, I was just kind of watching it going, yeah, it's cute, and I'm glad it has a fan base. I'm rooting for the guy to have a second season. I really am rooting for it to have a second season, but as it stands, I'm just kind of like, it's just not doing anything for me. Sometimes I will watch a show for no other, and sometimes for other reasons than I'm just not feeling it. If you like the show, if anyone out there who watches Epithet Erased, anyone out there who's watching this right now, and I'm happy for you. I really am, and I hope you guys support Jello Apocalypse and his show, because the dude's living out his dream. I can't fault him for that. And I want so there you go. Not a lot to really say other than just it's cute, but it's not for me. That's just how it is. Anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below if you've seen Epithet Erased. Comment below, let me know what you guys thought of it. As always, hope you all enjoyed this review. I want to thank Gordon Rajani. I'm really hoping I'm saying that last name right. I do apologize if I butchered it, and I want to apologize for making you wait for as long as I had. It was just kind of a slog to get through all 7 episodes. So, yeah. Just if you've seen Epithet Erased or are curious, just go out and watch on Jello Apocalypse's show. Anyway. So, other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. If you are interested in having a Patreon request done, just hit the link below to my Patreon. Check out the exclusive videos there. Hit the 4th tier, and just send me your request for videos to do. So, yeah. Again, I'm glad I got to finally do these 3 Patreons. Finally, I finally had the time to do these videos, so I'm happy about that. But other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse, and I will see you next time in the multiverse.